Do you feel like you were the George Washingtons of Jerry Springer infiltrations?
I've heard that there were other people before us, but I think that we were the first people to become famous from it. I'm not being biased. I don't think anyone did it better than us because at the time the show was at its peak of popularity. You didn't really think it was a lie. You just thought you were getting a glimpse of this kind of level of society in the United States. The more we dealt with them, the more we realized that they were kind of not the most respectable kind of TV producers, and that all they cared about was, making sure they got a really dirty, scuzzy story. And they didn't care about their guests or what was going
Yeah.
to happen after. Hey everyone, my name's Ian Sirota. I'm famous for hoaxing Jerry Springer along with three other comics. We're called the Blockbusters, and you're listening to a podcast all about it.
And yes, you've tuned into another episode of Comedy History 101, where we school you in comedy. I am Harmon Leon. Hello, how are you? Good, thank you. Now, for those of you who might not know, the Jerry Springer Show was the trashiest of all trashy tabloid talk shows that aired from September 30th, 1991 to July 26, 2018. Such features of the Jerry Springer Show was its audience chanting, Jerry, 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 and guests on the show punching each other out. And as you might have noted, I am excited to have Ian as our guest today on Comedy History 101, where we school you in comedy, because Ian has the notoriety, as you've heard, of infiltrating the Jerry Springer Show. And not only that, but he and a bunch of comedians in the mid-90s were the first group to infiltrate the Jerry Springer Show and get not only national media attention, but also international media attention. And by the way, the Jerry Springer infiltration has been voted one of the top 50 funniest moments in Canadian comedy history. And so you're thinking, well, Harmon, why is that so significant to you? Well, in 2015, when I was a journalist for Vice, I tried to infiltrate the Jerry Springer Show in order to expose how sleazy their producers were and what type of sleazy producer tactics they used to lure in their guests to reveal the most horrific things that have ever happened to them, so audiences at home could tune in and laugh at their problems with smug, ironic detachment. And in my circumstance, I told the guest booker that I had a meth-addicted boyfriend who was having too much anonymous sex on Grindr. And further, I actually recorded my phone calls with the said producer of the Jerry Springer Show, which I'll play throughout this episode. And just to give you a taste, here is how my infiltration began.
What was up? Are you looking to be on the show, or?
Yeah. So, I don't know, should I explain the situation or?
Yeah. Just the real situation, like not just for the show, just like whatever your real situation is.
I've been going out with my partner for 3 years.
Yep.
And we are planning to get married, but we have a lot of family members who are against it.
You basically just want him to stop the bullshit and like be focused on you. Do you think he'd want to come on the show with you?
So how would I go about like approaching him to do that? Would I tell him exactly what is going to happen? I mean, because I don't want him to think,
right, to like freak out or whatever. You can tell him whatever you want to get them on the show. I mean, you could just be upfront with him and just be like, hey, I got a call from Jerry Springer. Like, they want us to come on the show. And you can be like, I don't really know what it's going to be about, whatever, and just see what he says.
I'm not sure how he'll react because, because it's all about confronting him. But, I'm just trying to make the relationship work because, I have, like, physical problems. I think it's, like, I like a rare blood, like, disease. Not
really?
gruesome, Yeah, but it's
wow.
like, that's why it's important for me to make this work out.
I don't know what your schedule looks like, but we have a slot open for this Tuesday to be on the show. You'd come out Monday and do the show on Tuesday, and you'd be back Tuesday night.
That gave you a taste of my dealings with the guest booker of the Jerry Springer Show. And we'll play you some more clips of that throughout the episode. But before we jump right in, a few things to plug. Take some time to like, subscribe, and comment on Comedy History 101, wherever you get your podcasts, and we will read your comment right here on the air. Also, on Friday, November 3rd, 7 p.m. at the Red Room, I'll be presenting my show Tale, NYC's finest storytelling. So come on out for that. Also, on November 12th, 7 p.m. at the People's Improv Theater in New York City, I'll be presenting my show AI versus Human Roast Battle. Come out and see a machine learning AI take on a human comedian in a roast battle of tomorrow. And on Thursday, November 16th, I'll also be presenting my show, That 80s Improv Challenge. Yes, 3 improv teams compete by creating scenes inspired by videos from the 1980s. And you can find out about all these show dates on my website, harmonleon.com, or on the social medias at harmonleon. And now, without further ado, let's jump into some Jerry Springer infiltration.
You're stupid. Everybody's so stupid.
I'm trying to use the phone! Excuse me!
Comedy History 101.
Let's just jump right in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go back the year 1994, maybe 95. Where were you in comedy and what were you doing?
Okay, well, so I think at that time I was like just beginning comedy. I just moved to Toronto from Montreal, where I'm from. I think at the beginning I was on a kids TV show, like there's a kids network here that's like Nickelodeon called YTV. And I was living with 2 other comedians. One was Johnny Garthouse, who ended up being on the Springer Show, and the other one was Shannon Laverty. We used to watch Jerry Springer when we'd come home from gigs, have smoke a joint, have a drink, and watch Springer. And then one night I was watching by myself, and they asked at the end of the show, they would have like a plea to find a new guest, and they said, "Have you slept with your babysitter?" And I called back. It was a Friday. And I said that I gave them this long story of how I didn't know why I could tell them, but I told them and confessed I slept with my babysitter. And then I left my roommate's name, Johnny Garthouse, as a joke. And I didn't think anything of it. And then on Monday, they called us and they wanted to know more.
And what was your opinion of Jerry Springer at the time? Was it considered as trashy as it lives in history? Or was it still kind of maybe legit? What kind of trashy?
It was trashy. It was like at the beginning before they really got, like, sometimes I think that we're the reason why it got even more trashy, because at that time it was trashy, but not like fighting or freaking out or anything like that. It was just kind of like a guilty pleasure that we all had, and we didn't know whether it was real or not, but it seemed kind of real. It just seemed like American trailer park trash on TV. And I just did it as a joke. And the next thing, a week after I made that phone call and they called back on Monday, we were in Chicago.
Our guests today have been keeping a terrible secret from someone they love, and they're here today to get it off their chest. Now, this is John, who's ready to make a confession to his wife, Shannon. She's waiting right outside our studio, and she can't hear. So tell us, John, what will your confession be?
I had an affair with our babysitter.
I mean, again, not to make this about me. So I tried to infiltrate the Springer Show like in 2015. I was a journalist for Vice. And there were a lot of hoops I had to go through. And it involved concocting backstories for everyone and putting out a PDF of all the bullet points of information of the fabricated lie I created. How easy was it back then to get on?
Very. So like basically what we did was, and the funny thing was our producer's name was George Washington, which made us laugh like crazy. And
Don't tell a lie.
Yeah, right. So what we decided early in the whole thing was that we would just answer yes to any question they asked.
Would you were an improv group at the time?
No, we were all stand-up comedians.
Oh, okay, right. Because in improv, it's always yes and.
Yeah. So, no, I mean, like, some of us had done improv. Johnny had. So we just decided we're going to answer yes to every question and let them create the story themselves. And there were salacious questions, right? And they would always be like, did your wife ever, this? And then you'd be, yes, she did. And did you see the babysitter again? Yes, I did. And are you still singer? Yes, I am, And we would just answer over and over again like that. And before we knew it, they had created the story for us. We flew down there. The only thing we had to do was we had to sign a piece of paper saying we weren't lying.
Did it specifically say, because I know where the story takes a turn, did it specifically say no lying, or it just said like in legalese,
Yeah, and it like in legalese, if you lie, you're responsible for the production of the show, which is what they sued us for after they found out.
Yeah, so do they check your backstories? And again, simpler time, no social media,
The girl that was playing the wife was lying about her name. So it's like this is pre 9/11 where you could get on a plane and you didn't even have to use your real name almost, so she went under the name Shannon, which was our roommate's name, and she kind of like phonied up her ID. I don't even know she had to phony up ID to get on the plane, but nobody asked us for ID or proof of who we were or anything. As a matter of fact, we forced them to take me onto the show as the babysitter's boyfriend so that we could all do it together.
Okay, so how old is your babysitter?
Now?
Yes.
She's 20 now.
Please. How old was she when you had the affair?
18.
Okay. How long have you been married?
Almost 12 years now.
Okay.
And I've only saw like part 1 of it. I couldn't find the part 2. So I saw the part 1 before you were introduced. What was the twist of the story when they brought you on?
Well, I guess I should find the tape for you. Like when they brought me on, we had like organized like a joke. So like they basically said to me like, you're really going to go after him. And like we were best friends really in real life. And you're really going to go after, and then kind of like almost wanting to incite a fight. And then, but the thing is, you're locked into the stage. You're wired into the stage. There were no like mic packs back then. They'd wire you right into the stage, so you couldn't really move that much. And the guy that was playing the husband couldn't move at all, practically. When I came out, my thing was that he was calling my girlfriend still, and he was still interested, and I wanted him to leave her alone. And he's like, how do you even know it's me? And then we had a pre-written joke was, because I have call display, you fucking idiot. And the audience roared with laughter. And, it was just a lot of fun.
Bring out now your wife, Shannon. Okay, here's Shannon. Shannon, why do you think there's trouble in the relationship?
We're both working odd hours. He's working, I work early in the morning, he works late at night. He's a little resentful of the fact that my brother's been living with us for the last 2 years. And we just tend to not want to talk things through and explode, and it's communication we need to work on.
I think it may be more than communication, according to what John's telling us.
Was that like before, like people would get in fights on the Springer show?
Yes.
I mean, just technically speaking, do you think it because they were wired in and just kind of had limited range?
Yeah, I think so, partly. But the audience like was really wild on our show, and our show was like when they did our show, it was the advertised show on Sweeps Week, and the first episode of Sweeps Week, we were the headliner of that first show. And because they really liked what we had created, like this horrible situation where this guy had slept with his babysitter. And
well, John, go. If you're choosing, I'm not here to tell you to choose this format to do it. If you choose this format, that's all your business. But go ahead.
A couple of years ago, I slept with our babysitter.
And the wife that played the wife, she cried through the whole thing.
Hey, stop it! Come on.
That's right, man.
Shh. Okay. Hey, please settle down. Come on, guys.
I mean, lie to you like that.
I don't even know what to say to you.
Come on.
I just wanted to be honest. I wanted to tell you.
A really great way to start.
I couldn't keep it a secret any longer. Sorry, babe.
And it really sold it. And they offered us therapy, and they wanted to do another show after. And how basically everyone found out was we told the press after it aired. The day that it aired, we told the press the next day here in Toronto. And then it became a massive story. We ended up doing 2020, Dateline. Yeah, like every radio show in North America wants to speak to us. Everyone wants to speak to us. It was like we rose so far up in fame so fast. We had no plan at all for it. We never envisioned that any of this was going to happen. We just want to have fun, really.
You're stupid. Everybody's so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it's a blast. Like, I've infiltrated a lot of TV shows, and
yeah,
I would just say nothing can be more fun. when it finally airs, first there's the execution, but then when it finally airs and it's framed under this is a real person and this is his poor, horrible life that we can laugh with smug, ironic detachment at.
Why would you take till now to do it? And I have to ask you again, which is the question, frankly, which boggles my mind as we do shows like this, is why would you choose a television show to tell your wife something so intimate?
A little safer, maybe?
Safer? Oh.
Knowing you've just pranked them. Nothing could almost be better.
Yeah, it was actually absolutely awesome. And when we did it, we celebrated at Kingston Mines in Chicago right after it happened. We had a party, and then when they sued us, we had a party to raise money for our defense fund. And an American civil liberty lawyer took on our case pro bono, but we still needed defense fund money, and someone actually stole all our money the night of that party.
Whoa! How much did you raise?
$3,000.
And then you started doing all these TV interviews, 2020. What was the time frame from when you've been served with the legal papers?
Before we were even served, as soon as it hit the papers here, it spread like wildfire everywhere. And within the next, I would say, a month, it was the hottest story for quite a while. And then it just died out, and then we settled out of court because two of the people that I was doing it with wanted to become American citizens, and they were scared that if they went to court and they were found guilty, they'd never become actors in the United States, which they never did anyway. But I wanted to take it all the way, right to whatever, as far as we could go. But they wanted to settle out of court, so we settled for $10. And we sent it to them in pennies and change from Canada.
Like loonies and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know if there were loonies back then. I think it was nickels and dimes and pennies. And also on the show that we were on, another group of people were lying too. They kind of confessed to it. Yeah.
For two liars on the show. What was their story?
They were all from Kansas City, and they were a very similar story. And then even the manipulation level was incredible, because the actual only story that was true was about these two twins, and they slept with the same woman. and they took the twins and they brought them the wardrobe and put them in identical sweaters for the show to make it,
right,
more, greasy, I guess.
I'm trying to use the phone.
Yeah, I mean, what I found was when I was dealing with the producers was I had a story completely fabricated, but they, like, my level of lying was way surpassed by their level of dishonesty, of wanting to go, okay, we're going to bring in a friend. He doesn't have to be involved with the story. He could be just someone you know. Do you find someone to say that he slept with someone?
Oh, wow.
And once again, here is an excerpt from my conversation with the Jerry Springer producer. Note the sleaziness.
You know what we could do? We could even, do you have another, another gay friend? We could do, a hypothetical situation. Say, we bring you and Tony out. You guys have another friend, a gay friend, that we can say Tony hooked up with. Oh, Jerry, you're here to confront him, to be like, stop messing around with other guys. I'm 100% for you. I want to be in this relationship. We're planning a wedding. Doesn't that mean anything to you? And see what he says. So we could bring, a guy, a friend that you know or whatever, someone that's down to, play along with it and say that he hooked up with Tony, and Tony will be like, whatever, we can say it for the show. But you can, when you confront him about it, you're telling your honest feelings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you think that would work?
I could give it a try. But so does it have to be someone that Tony has hooked up with?
No, it doesn't have to be. Just someone that he would be comfortable saying that he did. We can fabricate for the show.
Okay.
I know you really want to confront him about everything, but we can do a different story to get you guys on the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know in real life, you want to confront him about Grindr and all that stuff, but I don't really know how we can make that work for a show because we don't have anyone we can bring that he's talking to on Grindr. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, I understand.
So for the show, we could say, Armando's here. He's suspicious that his boyfriend Tony has been messing around behind his back. He wants to know, what the deal is. They're supposed to be getting married, blah, blah, blah. And then Tony comes out and he's like, I have to tell you something. I hooked up with our friend, blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, what? How could you? Like that.
Okay, yeah. All right. I think...
Or we could do a different story. I don't know. Just see if Tony wants to come on the show. And then we can figure out a story after that.
So, their dishonesty was just, crazier than our dishonesty.
Yeah, oh, yeah. What they wanted from us, they wanted to follow us after with therapy and film it and, keep it going. Keep that flame lit. But it was a one-shot deal for us, totally.
So on the guest booker's request, I recruited my friend Brad to portray the role of Big Daddy Dino. And Big Daddy Dino's purpose was to fulfill the guest booker's request of having someone not connected to our story fictitiously be connected to our story for the sake of the Jerry Springer taping. And here's a portion of his call with the guest booker.
And they need a guy that says that he hooked up with either Tony or Armando for the show.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that sound like something you could do, or?
So what's going on? Yeah, apparently I think these guys they want to bring fucking Big Daddy Dino down to America to have me slap him around on TV. That's what I think.
Yeah, is that what you want to do?
Yeah, why? These guys. Yeah, I don't know. These guys are freaks. They probably, if I'm allowed to, I'll smack them around on TV for sure.
Perfect. You and Jerry fight them.
What's that? Well, I
don't know. Jerry fight them.
Isn't that the show?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, cool. Are you going to be around tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is this a good number to reach you at?
Yeah, this is a good number.
Cool.
That's all. All
right, so I will definitely give you a call tomorrow. I'm going to be in the office around 11. So I'll give you a call then, and I can give you more details, and we can set up a story with the three of you.
All right, that's awesome.
Cool. All right. Sounds good. So I will give you a call tomorrow.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Thanks, Dino.
Talk to you later.
But was it immediately after, like, they sent you, like, the papers that you're going to be sued? Like, immediately after you started doing press?
No, yeah, well, as we were doing press, then we got served with papers. I remember everyone got served except me. They found us wherever, but they had a lot of trouble finding me. And then they finally caught up to me, I think, at some comedy show, and they served me at a comedy club.
Like before you went on or after?
I think it was after I got off. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think.
And what do you summarize from that whole experience? Again, like a simpler time to infiltrate, because now, again, everyone has social media accounts, so there's some accountability of your identity.
Well, I guess. I mean, like, there's that guy that ran for Senate and won that was lying about everything, that New York senator. Like, it's still going on. It's not like people aren't still pulling the wool over people's eyes. You can create your own identity through social media. I guess you could still pull some of this off, Like, I don't do as much as I used to, but I still love practical jokes and, like, pranks. And I actually have one running for, like, 35 years now. I still haven't told the person it was me.
You did what for 35 years?
I just have this running prank on someone I know. And then it's like they have been trying to find out who did this thing to them years ago, and it was me the whole time.
Can you give a little spoiler alert on that? Or
I can't.
It's still in secret.
Excuse me.
People since then have, like, infiltrated Springer. Do you feel like you were we'll go back to the George Washingtons of Springer infiltration?
I've heard that there were other people before us.
Oh, really?
But I think, I've heard that, but I think that we were the first people to become famous from it. And then I know other Canadian comics did it as well, but I don't think, I'm not being biased, I don't think anyone did it better than us, because at the time the show was at its peak of popularity, and you didn't really think it was a lie. You just thought you were getting a glimpse of this kind of level of society in the United States. And we just wanted to, the more we dealt with them, the more we realized that they were kind of not the most respectable kind of TV producers, and that all they cared about was, making sure they got a really dirty, scuzzy story. And they didn't care about their guests or what was going to happen after. Or I think someone even got killed, like maybe 2 or 3 years later.
The Jenny Jones show, yeah.
Right, Jenny Jones show, yeah, exactly. So, like, it did explode. It was right at, like, when it was bubbling, reality TV show was starting to bubble. It went from, like, Donahue to all of a sudden to Jerry Springer, and it was just like, it started, and then Springer just started growing like an infection, like a goiter on your neck, like, and just the grossness that grew. And then all the reality shows copied the popularity of Springer, what he was doing with his guests.
Yeah, they always just had to raise the bar. And I think maybe you guys set the bar. And then it just became the WWE of people's lowest moments of their lives exploited on TV.
I think secretly they were happy that we did that.
Well, look how much press you got them. So it's just, again, it's just like, I think the lawsuit was there to go, no, we're legit and we'll sue anyone who tries to. But then secretly they're going, look, we're on 2020 along with these guys who are on 2020, and their ratings probably went up.
Yeah, they did. Because after that, that's when the violence kind of started, where they didn't wire people into the stage anymore. You could go up and just hammer someone,
Yeah. Did you get this from, like, a lawyer you're dealing with to go, well, we were doing it for the sake of, like, to expose how these shows operate, and you could use that sort of defense?
That's what we kind of ended up doing. We did really wanted to expose what they were doing. We thought it was kind of despicable what they were doing. It started off as a joke. It ended up being like that. And then I honestly don't know what the lawyer's plan was for us, like how he's going to defend us, because it never went to court. But he said that he wanted to take this case, and he had done cases in the 60s. For him, it was a civil liberties, freedom of speech kind of thing, I think, more so than like an exposure kind of thing.
I mean, again, some other people I've had on this podcast, they created this fake strongman act called Chop and Steal, and they would go on morning TV shows, and by no means they look like strongmen, but they went on a series of like morning 5 a.m. TV shows and created like this fake strongman act, like breaking bricks and shit. But they got sued. But they went under, in the end, you're really doing what the show wants. You're creating entertainment for the viewers, whether it's real or not. And like in the same way, WWE, it's not real, but it's, crazy entertaining. And you've done your job.
Yeah, I didn't want to make them. I thought, honestly, a part of me thought, once this is exposed, people like, I don't want to watch that. But it was actually the opposite. Once it was exposed, people were like, now I really want to watch that. Like, yeah. I want to guess who's who, or I just want to see the circus.
Exactly. And what takeaways, with time and distance, and how has that affected like your comedy career and life, having that, on the CV resume?
I kind of hide it. Like, I don't really talk about it a lot. Yeah, I kind of do. I kind of did the whole time. Like, I have it on, like, I was part of 50th Funny Moments in Canada, because, I mean, that's pretty cool. So yeah. Like, I have that on there, but I don't say, I might be on my old bio, but I kind of don't make a big deal out of it. But when people ask me, I'll tell them the story. I mean, I've told this story probably 500 times, but I don't introduce myself as that. I don't try to sell myself as that. But at the time when it happened, we did try to capitalize on it a little bit, but honestly, we weren't prepared for what was coming. We didn't know it would be that big. And we were just all new comedians, too.
Oh, really?
So we
You're like in year one of stand-up?
Yeah, I think I was in year 2, and I think Johnny was in year 2, and Suzanne Meir was in year 1, and Minnie was in year 3. We were all young, new comedians, and it was just a joke. It just was a joke that we decided, you do something and then you go, this will never go anywhere, and then it starts going somewhere, and you go, well, let's go for the ride. And then you go for the ride, and you go, well, while we're on this ride, let's expose what we see is happening. And that's really what happened in the end.
And just a couple last questions. What is your comedy history? What brought you to comedy? Like when you first started out, who are your influences?
I was very lucky that I started in Montreal at the Comedy Works. And I saw some really great comedians come through my first year of comedy, and I worked there too. I sat people, and I did anything just to hang out at the club. And I would Dennis Leary, Jon Stewart, Ray Romano, Norm Macdonald. These people all passed through our club. Drake Sather. That year I worked there, and I totally learned a lot from them. And I started comedy on a dare. I worked as a journalist for a small newspaper, and I got fired. And my girlfriend, to cheer me up, took me to a comedy show, and I was like, I'm funnier than that. And she's like, well, why don't you do it as a dare? And I did it, and then the guy was like, we want you to come back again, kind of thing.
Very cool. And any other last takeaways from the whole experience of Springer that I might not have asked, or any kind of detail that, really stands out that I might not have touched on?
I kind of think, I don't know, I think you covered pretty much all of it. I mean, the one thing that was kind of cool too was that they gave us a per diem, right? And we stayed in like the same hotel that Oprah's guest stayed in. It was like the Omni in Chicago. It was like a 5-star hotel. And we were a bunch of starving comics and we couldn't believe it. And we like I remember I was in the same room as the girl that was playing my girlfriend, although we weren't boyfriend and girlfriend. I had a girlfriend I lived with. And we fell asleep next to 2 lobster thermidors and those big chrome things just because we couldn't even eat or drink anymore because we spent our per diem as much as we could. And we like partied where the other 2 people were scared shitless. But me and the girl that was playing my girlfriend, we were just enjoying every single moment of it. Johnny and Sue, who played the husband and wife, they were scared and nervous. But it was such a release. It was like bungee jumping, or when you get off that stage and you realize you completely fooled them and like they have no idea who you are.
Were you capitalized by the adrenaline rush of the
Oh, I loved
crowd?
it. It was kind of scary a little bit because like I came out, they didn't like me, right? And then they didn't like Johnny.
I think just maybe explain a little bit more about your character because I didn't see that bit of the segment.
Yeah.
Would you in wrestling terms the heel or the face, the villain or the hero?
Well, I came off. I think it started as a heel, but then when I did that joke about the call display, then I turned into like a hero, and they were all on my side, right? Because like at the beginning they didn't like the 2 guys, and they felt bad for the 2 women. Then they hated Johnny, like they wanted to kill him. They were yelling at him, "You should be ashamed. I hope you go to hell," like all that stuff. They were yelling at him, and they're right in your face. It really is like a Roman days where you're in the Colosseum and, they're screaming for the Christians' blood,
Ian, thank you so much. I love this.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Fellow infiltrators. So anyways, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot. Have a good one, bud.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
And that wraps up today's episode of Comedy History 101, where we school you in comedy. So you're probably wondering, how did it turn out with me and my fake story and the Jerry Springer producer? Well, after I took the guest booker's lead and brought in another person to help fabricate the story that was already fabricated, so the way I wanted to twist the story was I wanted to subtly imply that somehow having the Jerry Springer guest booker call my so-called partner somehow stirred up a situation that actually made our relationship even worse. And because of our dealing with the Jerry Springer booker, we also wanted to subtly imply that not only has it broken up our relationship by stirring up the worst moments in our lives, but it also made my fictional partner, Tony, go back to some bad habits, which is basically doing meth and having anonymous fisting sex. And here is the last message that Tony left for the guest booker for the Jerry Springer show, who didn't return our phone calls and probably found someone more fucked up on meth who was having even more sensational grinder hookup sex.
Hey, this is Megan with the Jerry Springer Show. Sorry I missed your call. Leave your name and number, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks.
Hi, Megan. It's Tony Knox, and I'm calling about coming on the Jerry Springer Show this week. Since Dino is in the mix on this, and now Armando, we had our fight last week. He's not talking to me, and he's saying that he's going to stay in New York, and I don't even know what's going on. And some things, I've gone back into some old patterns that... Anyway, if you can give me a call back, just let me know what's going on.
And now with that is our episode today on Comedy History 101 on the history of infiltrating the Jerry Springer Show. And I will leave a link to my Vice Jerry Springer infiltration story in the show description. And remember, take some time to like, subscribe, and comment on Comedy History 101, wherever you get your podcast, and we will read your comments right here on the air. Such as this comment from someone who goes by OK on the history of the Andrew Dice Clay controversy. OK writes, I had no use for him back then. He may have become a decent man, but he's forever someone who encouraged bigotry and hate. He made Trump look like a choir boy. Thank you, OK, for your comment on the history of the Andrew Dice Clay controversy. And once again, you can find out about all my upcoming shows at harmonleon.com or on social media at harmonleon. And until next time, bye-bye.
You're stupid. Everybody's so stupid.
I'm trying to use the phone! Excuse me!
Comedy History 101.